Okay, so today, now that I've managed to do the I'm GUI stuff, managed to rip out the WSI, the Windows Subsystem Interface libraries, and merged it into the skunkworks or the bring up application, now it's time to go back to that first thing I was trying to do several days ago, and that was to split out skunkworks into a separate repository and application. To better simulate the idea of I need the ability to make sure that whatever I build in the engine and the libraries and all that has to be exportable and then importable by some downstream project in a nice, obvious, maybe not obvious, but in a solid way, solid, reliable, easy to use way. In order to do that, I wanted to move this project out into a separate repository, which would then import the libraries. Well, I mean, but can also, I should note, be able to use, be built together in the same project. Let me just double check. So let me just double check what I actually have here, which appears to be everything. Good, 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 good. So let me get rid of the last of this source stuff and then go into CMake list. So right now, when I try to build everything together, first off, I have the skunkworks is still off the older build when I still had the WSI stuff, so I need to make sure that that is removed. I need to underscore WSI, and in the skunkworks, really. So this is gone. WSI loader stuff is gone. This is gone. This still exists. This is good. And then this stuff should be about as expected. Okay, now we build it. Make sure that the integrated version does correctly build. Not quite. Close, but not quite. So back to this problem where I have these things were being pulled in like this. And I don't think I can I target the files like that? I don't think target files works anymore like this. Maybe it does. But this is, again, this is when it's all together as part of the same one single project. So going back to trying to build and debug, let me make sure it's the one I'm expecting. Yes, faux bring up. Actually, no, not faux bring up. This doesn't exist anymore. Build skunk works, and it's not that, it's just called what? It's just faux, what's it called? Oh, it's still called faux bring up. Okay, okay, change it to be that one instead. Still seems to work fine enough. Let's exit out of that. That seems to work okay. So next was to look at this. Okay, that looks okay. Do it in a separate thing. So one, I need to install test install test. Okay, do that. This isn't working. Why? I don't know. Hold on. Install prefix. That's what I'm looking for. So I want to do this. Actually, no. First off, let's get rid of this. Do that. Generate ninja-c build. Ninja-c build install. So now this will install everything into here. Then cc make this prefix path. We try this. Now we have a problem. We don't have faux WSI. Why is that? Am I trying to pull in WSI? I don't remember trying to bring that one in, and I don't see it. Let me have a look in here. So let's have a look at for WSI in, let's see, what was it, test and install test? Okay, there is something that is pulling in WSI for the faux IM GUI. Let's have a look at the installer for that. Faux IM GUI does indeed have WSI as a required component. Let me double check as to what we actually require for this. It just looks like it's IM GUI headers. So let's pull that out. And the dependency macro, since we don't need it. So let's do this and then try this one again. Okay, new issues. What do we got? No target. That. Okay. On this line, let's just double check. Sorry, not this one. It's this one, line 65. Let's see what we got. Okay, it was trying to pull in. Okay, it can't find the target files when it's trying to import the objects from elsewhere. So that's not great, but put that off to the side because we have the other thing, the XR. XR is not found. And is that because I'm not pulling it in? It looks like regular. And then I want import export. And then I want to split with IM GUI. So position. I don't need to pull in YAML because that'll happen automatically. I don't need to pull in that either. Like there's a bunch of these things I don't actually need to manually add. Pretty sure. I'm GUI, okay. Can I? No, I cannot. And then I need an XR at least, it looks like. Because I'm pulling that in somewhere. Let's give that a go. Okay. Okay, bunch of problems. Yeah, okay. One is these definitions, which don't do anything right now, which is unfortunate. And then we have a number of missing headers, starting with this one, which is for the Vulkan memory allocator, which I don't remember why it's up here. There it is. There's a returning one. Okay. That's not particularly great. And then the other one being IM GUI. CLI 11, it's also not... okay, CLI 11 is one I'm pretty sure I bring in. And one that I can actually transfer from the old repository over. So pull that. I'll go down here. I'm going to say add the external. Paste that in here. I'll see if I can grab a newer version of that. Okay. And let's make sure we add do dependencies, Add subdirectory external. Okay, we'll get a step closer. External does not. I mean, I guess you're right. Not really that. CLI 11. We'll just do each one individually like this. I'll be fine with that. Okay, so we're a bit closer. We've got the Vulkan memory allocator and the IM GUI to deal with. Now, the most straightforward one would be to distribute IM GUI and the Vulkan memory allocator headers with the libraries, but that's not great. Mm-hmm. So this looks like it's kind of one of those all-in-one type deals, maybe. Actually, no, these just look like an incredible number of function declarations. It's just a whole lot of declarations. There's no actual definition here, which must be inside this file instead. This 17,000 line file. Okay, if I go back, not sure what this is about. Yeah. I have all four. Okay, yeah, there's 4 files that we pull in. There's also a demo one. Okay. Not entirely certain. What is this? As to what exactly to do. I'm not sure what direct is. Directory something. Whatever. STB for images. Okay, that is... Okay, let me check how distributable these headers are. Like, I'm GUI is what? What is the thing on this? This, okay, I'm GUI is MIT licensed. Correct? 2014 to 2025 MIT license. Okay, so that's where I can copy the headers and stuff for that around, as much as I'm not particularly pleased about that. I'm GUI dialog. Let me check that. This one looks like MIT license as well. Yes, 2018 to 24. I could have also just checked here. And Vulkan memory allocator is, which looks like MIT. Yeah, hold on. MD memory Vulkan memory allocator. Yeah, it is MIT. Okay, so I can distribute the headers along with the libraries for now. So I think I'm going to have to do that for the moment. because these are things that you can't really get from elsewhere. So for IMGUI, this is going to install headers here. And what I need as part of this, I need this to also install the header from IMGUI. I'm not entirely sure how to do that. Besides, because I only have imconfig. Well, let me double check. How do I, okay, I have the CMake lists inside of here. So if I go into here, wherever the CMake lists for external IMGUI is hiding, here, I have the declarations, the sources. Okay, that's the source files. And then I want, the public file set headers base ders, which is going to be what, just im include. I don't think I really care about this. But this I do care about. So the base directories are imGUI or CMake current source directory / imGUI and CMake current source directory / include, I guess. Well, no, I don't even, no, that doesn't make any sense. Because I'm just, oh yeah, no, because I'm putting him in the root. Oof, that's not particularly great. I'd really prefer these to be in subdirectory to say like this is the faux specific version. Because if I install everything in the root, then there's a good chance of clashing. Not great. Okay, base directories, files. For the moment, I'm just going to stick with the awfulness that I already have. So I am pulling in imGUI, imGUI.h, and then this / imconfig.h. So I want to do this. This no longer has CLI 11, which is true. Do that, build it. Okay, let's see. I'm not installing imGUI. Okay, hold on. No, I'm not installing it quite yet. Okay, is there a way for me to go to imGUI? What I want this to be able to install the header file from this, basically. That's what I'm looking for. Still targets that, export that. Can I just do this? Install targets imGUI and just say, hey, the file header's destination is this. it looks like I actually can. Hold on. Yeah, undo that and try this. Okay. So this may not actually be as bad as I was fearing. Okay, so if I go to Ninja build skunkworks, now I'm going to have the I am GUI stuff. Okay. Progress. To do to avoid name clashing. To avoid clashing. Just avoid clashing. I'm going to slap that here, and I want to slap it in here as well. Next was VK memory alloc. Okay. Let's do the same thing here. I have no target sources. I'm sorry. I have 2 files here. What? Oh, no, I have it as part of this. Okay. Interesting. Okay, we have this stuff, and then we have target sources at the bottom. They're going to have this little shindig. Vulkan memory allocator. I'm going to say it's, I don't know if it's static or shared. I'm just going to leave it like that. We have this, the current directory, and then we say headers, files, and it's going to be vk-mem-alloc.h. Now, this is just, yeah, it just includes it. Not sure why it includes that. Whatever. Okay, so I got that. And then what I want to do is I want to go to, I think graphics VK is where this stuff will be introduced. So we got, yeah, the Vulkan required. And memory allocator here. So then much like I am GUI. There. Go down to the install part. VMA headers, singular. And we say Vulkan memory allocator. Header will be destination include. Try that. That didn't work. Why? CMake cannot determine the linker language for target Vulkan memory allocator. Is CXX, I believe. Oh, no, I don't even need to do that. What I need to do actually is private and add the actual alloc.cpp, and then it'll automatically determine it. Yeah. Okay, going back to this. This should have brought it in. VK mem alloc. Okay, there we go. So back to building of skunkworks. We now have Vulkan memory allocator. We're just missing some other things instead. Great. Which I do not have things that are exported out of this still. Okay. This is just an interface, which is true. Do I actually use this anywhere? No. Let's trash it. I should really start committing some of this stuff. Okay, let me grab out. Some keys. I'm gonna see if I can commit some of this stuff, slightly clean up. So one thing, this it's now day 2 or whatever. It doesn't matter. I need to update the copyright year, 2025. While I'm at it, I could probably I'll keep it separate. Git commit. I'm going to say, hey, removed. What was it? The Chronos mini libs. Interface target. It's not being used. Simple enough. All right, let's see what else we got. That's all being removed. CLI 11 is going to be removed with everything else. I'm GUI. It's being changed up. Okay, I'll put those in together. But, right. Vulkan memory, include link libraries, and it had these like this. Okay, so what I need is that. I'm going to do target sources as a separate thing. Here we go. Unfortunately, doing this just highlights the fact that how difficult it really is to make these things easily usable. And it's not a great feeling. So the base directory will be what? Just Vulkan minilibs. Current source directory. Vulkan mini libs 2 include. And the actual file that we're looking for is just what? Struct cleanup, right? And it's just this one by itself. Yeah. So it's this file with the base directory being that. Target sources, struct compare, basically the same little deal. Except we are looking for this instead. Struct compare, struct compare. And then one finally down here. With value serialization. Value serialization is both of these headers. So let's grab this and this. So we get value serialization.h and HPP. Then we flip back to graphics VK here, and then we're going to install. Can I install other targets at the same time? Is what I'm thinking of. Let's find out. Can I just do that? Nope. That's not what I wanted. How did I do? There we go. Comment that. Make that a comment. VK struct cleanup. Compare. And serialization. And this was actually being used, apparently. But whatever. Get rid of it. Clear it up. Try it again. That's just me not being able to type correctly. Now we have what's going on here. Target this. These targets, the include directory property contains the path this, which is prefixed in the source directory. So this is new. Oh, you know what? It's probably this, right? Something like that. If I do this, does the Vulkan memory allocator one go away? Nope. See, these are all errors inside of like this local area, right, for the moment, which is not great. Let me see if CMake interface include directories property contains prefixed in the source directory. So what I need to set this as a build interface and an install interface, maybe. Okay, build interface is this, I guess. And install interface is just local bit. Actually, hold on. Let's try the build. Let's try the build first. That worked. So if I go down here to the Vulkan interface 1, I can, not quite here, down a directory. Include directories. I can say, hey, this, right? I presume that times 3, I guess. Kind of annoying. Okay, clear. And this. Improvement. Now I've got to do XR. Result string, which is in here as well. This is... Where is this being declared or defined or whatever? Deep in here instead. Cool. Basically almost a copy paste job. Going from VK to XR. Right. Oh, it's result to string. This is different. Crap. And I'm using it a bunch of times here as well. VK result serialization. I'll call it that instead. So we got that. This requires Vulkan. Yes, it does. Got this. There's no private. It's interface. Interface library. Interface library. Interface. It needs Vulkan to work. This is the header we want to use. And then we want one for the XR. One, two, three, four, five. Okay. And deep down in the XR area, I would be bringing in the XR library somehow. I presume, oh no, OpenXR. I'd be pulling in this as a package. Thank you very much. If XR support, since like Mac OS doesn't support it, so that's not going to happen. OpenXR. I don't know if it's a double OpenXR or not. Am I blind? Not entirely sure. Maybe just the namespace will work. Find out in a second. Maybe is the answer. So we got that, and then I want to, yeah, this is no longer a thing. Is it private? Maybe it is. XR result serialization. This is private. To that looks like okay. Yeah. And then this fails how? OpenXR by itself is not a thing. Okay, let me go to, I don't know how OpenXR is found. CD user lib. Okay, let's open up a thing. We're going to go to CD user lib, and we're going to find in here grep -i OpenXR and grep CMake. Okay, that looks like what I'm looking for. OpenXR config. I presume OpenXR loader. Nope, not in here. Targets. Okay, yeah, that's what I'm looking for. OpenXR headers. Thank you very much. That actually, okay. One, yes, perfect. OpenXR required components headers. That's all I'm looking for here. Nice. I'm interested if I can do the same thing with Vulkan. If I could just like require. I don't think so. Vulkan utility libraries. What are you? You are a number of things. And I don't think you're what I'm looking for. Qt5, Vulkan loader. Otherwise, just a bunch of Qt stuff, which I'm not interested in. So I'm not going to do that for that side. I just, yeah, this works. Let's see if we can do that. So where was I? Yeah. This pulls in OpenXR headers as an interface. Found package. Really? Maybe it just doesn't support the components bit. Yeah, okay. Oh, it actually finally worked. Intriguing. I like it. I like it. Okay. Next is going back to, so to do this, install, and then let's see back on Ninja-C build of the independent skunkworks. Does that? No, that doesn't bring the stuff in yet. So I got the Vulkan result to string and I'm GUI file dialog. Those are the things I need to still move over. So VK. Okay. Obviously, I don't need this. VK result serialization. Do the install. Skunkworks. We're down just a little bit more, maybe. Missing a few items. And I'm GUI file dialog. So let's grab out the header from here. So target sources. Target sources is always at the bottom because it's the last thing you really care about, usually. As a set developer, like I really care more about the include directories and the libraries rather than the files. That's the last thing I'm really interested in or looking at. Let's grab these. Add it to the sources bit. We are include. F2, copy all of that. And then in here, okay, hold on, let me make sure. Include is first, yeah. And then this is the file I care about from here. Okay. Let's do the install. Wait, no, I'm not installing from faux GUI. This is the thing that's bringing it in. So we got targets, this, GUI, and then the GUI file bit. Okay, install. Not quite. Why? Oh, we're back to the prefix directory stuff. Wait, hold on. Is it just because it's part of the same one? If I do these separately, GUI file dialog. If I do them separately, interesting. Interesting. Grep GUI. But only the one came through. What was the GUI file dialog? Oh. No, this came through as well. What? Why? Why does it matter if they're installed together versus separately? Why? Why? Okay. Curiously, in the install test in lib, is it lib or share? In share CMake faux. And I go down to, let's say, faux graphics VK. What do I have here? I have a bunch of, okay, yeah, see, I have these things, and what's going on with these? This just says, hey, this is a library, it's static imported, it interfaces with the Vulkan, fine enough, and it has this file to interface with. Okay. And then in the IMGUI variant, does it do similar? Where it says, hey, okay, there's no IMGUI or IMGUI file dialog. I mean, the file's been moved over, but it does not look like it's actually saying anything about IMGUI. The headers. It's not listing the headers. It's okay. When I had it part as under this, it's being exported as part of this set, I presume. And therefore, it will be exported into this file, and then this install section. Like, hold on. Yeah. If I export, hold on. This is just a whole bunch of weird stuff. Yeah, it fills out. And then I go here. And then I say, hey, the include directories are build interface, current source dir, that, and okay, do I need this for the build interface? Really? I don't think so. Ooh, maybe yes, it looks like. Yeah, okay, I need IMGUI to be done as well. Thank you. Where's, again, target sources should be at the end of this. Declarations there, this stuff, and then the sources down here. And then what I care about is build interface. See, this is just a whole bunch of like a good thing of me actually trying to split this out and figuring out all this stuff before it gets much worse. Okay, it should be the other way around as well, right? Yeah, include is first to grab the custom version of the config, and then IMGUI is separate. Okay. Do this. I need to go back to the graphics VK, not the graphics VK, the IMGUI, right? IMGUI. Here we go. And then I export this as well under the same thing. Okay. Now I go back to graphics VK's got all this, and for IMGUI now has a number of more items. Here we go. IMGUI file dialog under the faux sub namespace, and here's the header files. Now they're exported, and they can be imported from. Okay, this is a lot more intricate, weird work, but whatever. As long as it makes it much more robust to be able to use this and easier for a downstream user to use this, fine. I'll also, so I got the IMGUI, and then I'm going to bring the IMGUI and the file dialog together under that. Make that a bit simpler. So we install all that. and then build the skunkworks. And the other thing, cannot create imported target because another target with the same name already exists. That is correct. That is correct. They'd both be under for IM GUI. If I go down here, check this out. I have the actual faux library. And then I have the other one with these instead. So I'm not actually R is I'm GUI. Okay, it's an interface include directory, but it doesn't, there's no actual like link or anything like that. No. Like including one isn't including something else. So if like I have this, link. See, I have linked libraries for this, but not here. Oh no, I do have one. I'm GUI file dialog pulls in I'm GUI. Okay. Because realistically, it should be the other way around anyways. I'm GUI should be including this, and then the other I'm GUI. If I go to graphics VK, it's going to be the wrong way around, right? Memory allocator pulls in Vulkan. Okay, this. But realistically, graphics VK should be pulling in the other as, yeah, it's only pulling in these two. It's not. I got things slightly turned around. Hold on. Is it because of this? Okay. Scrolling back down to just closing everything, going back down. Graphics VK, does that now correct the order, the link order? If I go to, yes. Okay. It's because of the weird build interface thing that I was doing, probably to try to get around the build interface with the headers beforehand. But now, if I can find it again, graphics VK, just get rid of these, just link things properly or as properly as possible. And then do the same thing for I'm GUI. Yeah, the linked libraries were built. Okay, yeah, because they were only being linked on builds, not as well as on when the installer step was happening, these things were basically coming out to nothing, which is not what I was hoping for. So graphics VK now pulls in all these things. Now I'm not sure what exactly to do about IMGUI, because supposedly this is saying, hey, pull in myself, which is not what I was hoping for, but I'm closer, just a little bit closer. So can I export these two under a different name? Like under install targets, these under like the IMGUI name. The file set header is going to include. Can this like under the faux IMGUI sub, can I nest things like that? No, I don't think so. Includes target. Okay, if I just export under IMGUI. Nope. Export faux IMGUI includes target faux IMGUI, which requires target IMGUI that is not part of any export set. Come on. Come on, get me something. Maybe that'll be good enough. What, okay. Faux IMGUI, faux IMGUI. No. No, this is backwards again. This is not great. It has to be some solid way to do this. I mean, I can. Okay, it's just because. Like, what am I going to say? Like, oh man, because this is supposed to be like a sub of. Okay. Okay, no, I had that. Yeah, this is what I was doing. If I just say I am GUI, just like, can I just I am GUI? Is it like case sensitive? Can I get around like that? No, I can't. But it is part of the other export set that's right here. Um, So at this point, I'm definitely leaning towards just integrating the IMGUI files directly into the library. Well, no, hold on. I have full control over this, don't I? Let me, okay, hold on. Let me double check. Is there an IMGUI package I could just pull down? No. Well, yes, there's one on the AUR, but that's not really real. So I can just maybe can I do an install of this? Hold on, let me check. Install targets. I want to export this into this namespace. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Because I'm not entirely sure how this works. Namespace that. What if? Okay, why are these separate? Can I put these together? Maybe. Let me open up your old Chromium. CMake install. Let's have a look at what's going on in CMake install function. Okay. Okay, they do actually look like different things. Install target, output artifacts, and associated files. Objects, file sets, that's okay. Then we go down to export, which is a different thing entirely. Export namespace. Okay, that's actually something I've never really quite figured out, is the fact that like there's configurations, like debug and release and stuff. And I'm not particularly interested in that. Okay, hold on. Export. Or is it? What about this? What does this do? Causes the contents of the properties matching to be exported. Maybe this is what I'm looking for. Under export, namespace. There doesn't even appear to be a, oh no, there's a destination right there. Let's try this. What's going on here? What do we got? What do we get? What magic incantation does this come out with? Again, follow I'm GUI. But the link interfacing is correct. Okay, I'm GUI targets those. And then I want to export that other target just under I'm GUI. I'm GUI. That links to that, which is then spat out into that. Does this work? Maybe. Let's go check it out. Okay, I got a bunch of faux stuff. Do I have an I'm GUI at the bottom? I do indeed now have one. And then this is still looking for itself and is not what I was looking for or hoping for whatsoever. Oh, no, I still had those. Maybe. And there we go. I'm GUI dialog. I'm GUI dialog. Okay. And then if we build this, we have another problem because I'm missing these files. Because they do not start with the faux prefix. Okay. What if I just don't do this and I just say, hey, you know what? This, scrap all that. This is just called I'm GUI core. Why don't I just do this? And then up here, I just say, hey, you know what? You're just called that now. You're just called I'm GUI core. I don't want this. It's not an independent project. This. One, two, nope. Make sure it's the whole word. Yep. Nope. Yep. Yep. Nope. 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 Yep. Okay. Going back to here, it's now going to be pulling in core. It build, no, it doesn't. Because this now requires this. Build install, got that. Go back to here. This gets a lot. Okay, that's the headers sorted. I'm missing model and position. Back down to here. I am looking for position is here, but it's not being linked in to bring up YAML, which is interesting because I thought okay, we look for this and we're going into skunkworks. Where do we target link libraries? Right here. Do that. Really? I thought. Hmm? I would have thought that we would have used. I thought we would have like model and position. I'm pretty sure have their own YAML importers or whatever. Bring up binary. And say, yeah, these would have their own. Interesting. Yeah, I thought they would have their like model and position have their own YAML import export libraries that would be brought in anyways via the dynamic libraries, the plugins. So I'm not entirely sure why I was doing that. Okay, close all. Let's go back to this. Now, back down to this, which is based off the fact that, hey, you know what? I'm no longer pulling in the target file when I'm importing from a remote location. So is there inside of, let's say, yeah, IMEX YAML. IMEX YAML. Here, this thing, is there a target or like a file that I can work with? Like this, the SO. Imported SO. Set properties, imported location, and imported SO name. SO debug. That's not really what I'm looking for. Let me double check. Yeah. So this target file only works when the target is part of the same project, and then otherwise I would have to. Okay, but this, hold on. This is. Then I have to do like imported SO name configuration like every time. That's not great. CMake export configuration override, because I don't like the idea like is always like dash debug, or like if I was to install. If I was to do this, change it to like release. Then build it. Then I'd have a new set of files. Like this is trying to pull in deliberately. Like, okay, this pulls in anything that's there. So yeah, doing this and installing. Now we got the debug, and now we got the release, and you can see like imported SO name underscore release underscore debug. But what if I just export the one, right? Non-release, like what if I was to install something? Trying to think. Okay, yeah. So if I'm on skunkworks, I'm trying to build something, whatever, and then I say, hey, dash d CMake build type equals blank. Sorry. Okay, wait, the build type's already blank. What? Then what? Then what is it choosing? What's going on? Doesn't matter. Oh, dash V for verbose, right? Clean. Okay, yeah. What, when we get down here, where is, if I say faux bring up lib, yeah, what was it linking against? Or hold on. No, because I'm just installing it to the same location. It doesn't actually matter for now. Okay, what about, is it listed in the skunkworks cache? It says like, imported. Okay, let's just say whatever. I actually don't know which one is going, it would pull in. Okay. CMake export configuration. Okay, correctly exporting configuration. Okay. So, okay, close all that up, install, share stuff. There's no targets file, but that's okay. I'm just doing this instead. This is, yeah, the target file instead. Hmm. Cool. I know nothing more actually after that. Importing and exporting guide. Maybe this will give me a bit more. CMake export multiple configurations. That's not what I'm looking for. I don't want to build. I want to export. Okay, here we go. Okay, that is one thing that my entire export behavior is based on one location, right? Yeah, lib. Every time. It's just lib. That, I guess, should be able to change. Hmm. Oh, this is there's no answer. It's just like damn. Great, thanks. Garbage site. Hmm. Start with export in multiple configurations. Please. Okay, this is 5 years old. Maybe this will give me some. Uh, hmm. I don't like this. I'm just not a fan of this. Hmm. Okay. Scrolling back to what? Hold on. What's export? Hmm. This looks weird. This is okay. This is import export namespace file. Do I have to specify the file? If I do installed file may come with additional per configuration files to be loaded by globbing. Do not use an export name that is the same as a package name in combination with this. Okay, so this bit isn't it. This is the bit that does the per configuration. So install targets is what I'm looking for. Now, for regular executables, destination argument is not required. A default destination will be taken from the appropriate variable of this. I'm interested if this actually changes. Libdir can change lib to lib64. This may be lib this. Okay, so this would actually be more useful to use for installs anyways. Binder is just going to be bin all the time. Includer is always going to be include. Old include, yeah. It's going to have to be libdir. So that's something I'm going to have to do. I'm going to make a note of that. Still, I don't want to do the config stuff. Doctor, man directory, locale, sorry, info. Okay, back to this. I am looking for how to avoid the configuration being added onto the end of these things. Just have just a generic one, I think. That's what I really want. This is a config. Come on. Under targets, configurations. There's no configuration here until like a completely different thing. Configurations is just going to probably say a list of build configurations which the installer rule applies. Yeah, that doesn't help me much. Okay, I don't think there's really much I can do about this then. Not right now. I'm just going to have to let it go to whatever the configuration is for the moment. I mean, maybe if I can change up like if I change up like the installation directory, at least to the GNU'ders, that'll get me at least the correct directories instead of just lib every time. But otherwise, I am not. Maybe also making it changeable. So if you're like on Windows or something, you could say lib/debug or debug. Well, hold on. No, because then no. Yes? No. No, you would probably have like a directory that's just debug with everything installed there, and then a release version in a different location, rather than trying to do some funky stuff where you merge them all together. That'd be pretty nasty to keep a track of. Okay. Whatever. Point is, I can't use this anymore. I can't use these plugin. I can't define these plugins and put them straight into this anymore. I need to figure out another way. Okay. These things, when they create a plugin path, where is it searching for? In here, in here. It's just using the regular paths. Okay, that's not particularly great. So what if I was to say IMEX-YAML and just kind of do that, maybe? Or would it be lib? Hold on, let me do... this one. Sorry, not this. Doing the original and then pulling in, doing the whole thing together as one large build. Let's do that. So that did not go as well as I had hoped it would. Well, I mean, hold on. If it's all parted together in one project, I can do this instead. Right? That gets me closer. I'm still missing this somehow. I'm not pulling in model animation. Really? Let me check the includes. On here. Replace them with lines, and we check what do we got? IMEX, ECS, core, resource, simulation, graphics. I do indeed not have the model. One's being brought in as a dependency of, what was this? Bring up binary, which is the thing I actually got rid of earlier, didn't I? Yeah. Interesting. Can I control Z? Yes, I can still control Z. Let's do this. Apparently these are still hanging around in here. And I presume the same thing on the YAML side. Okay, all together. If I go back to here, I can grab what? Come on, you gotta give me a bit of a break here. Undeclared identifier. Why? It should be pulling in. Okay, hold on. If I just F9 into here and F5 and debug up to this point, am I not even calling this function apparently? Or am I just not in am I not in debug? No, I'm in release. That's why. Okay, now we go into F5. Okay, we're here now. That's the name of the thing. So if I was just to have this, copy as value, please. Slap this in here, I presume. IMX-YAML. And I just say this. Try it again. I don't think it'll be able to find it. I don't think it's not part of like the LD path, the linker path, right? If I try this, and this is going to be null. Yeah, it didn't find it. Okay, I need to come up with another way to do this. I mean, I could just modify the LD path and say, hey, here's where the plugins could be. Well, no. Because if it's part of the same project and I'm building things fresh, I don't really want to mess around with these paths. I may just have to start putting all of these binaries, all these shared libraries anyways, into a shared directory, a specific directory. Because right now they're just like scattered all over the build area. Yeah, because I could just like start putting everything into like a bin directory, build/bin or something like that. And just saying, hey, check the local directory or the local/plugin directory. Or no, it would just have to be like the bin directory because I'd also want to like do from the install test, like link directories. Okay. If create plugin, because I'd also have to do the same thing on Windows. Oh man. I would have to do the same thing on Windows. Anyways, for the DLLs, because they'll be scattered everywhere. Messy. Messy, messy, messy. I did too much of this together in one project. I did not comprehend the difficulty of making this usable outside of the singular large project. Messy, messy, messy. Get back up. I think this is something I'm going to actually have to think about, like overnight or something like that. I can't think of a good solution to this right now beyond building everything and putting it into a specific directory. LD. Okay, hold on. If I do this and then I say, what was this? IMX-YAML. Close that up. And I go to IMX-YAML. Then I say, hey, target link directories. public. And it's going to be like what? CMake binary directory, current binary directory. And I do that. That just didn't even build or compile, probably because it's saying, hey, interface link directories. Install interface, something like that. Or is it build interface? Let's try build for now. No, couldn't find it. Install interface. No, I don't think so. No. Nope. No idea. This is something that's going to have to be a bit of a longer think. So I think I'll leave it there for tonight. So until next time, cheers.